It's finally happening. New gloves. So it's been a little while since we've done a video, or that you've seen a video. I recorded week 2 of Tour du Zwift last week, but I had an absolute nightmare with trainer connection issues. I had multiple disconnections in the race, multiple disconnections on the long route, and all in all, it was a very frustrating week. I've contacted Wahoo, they've taught me through some steps, and since then, I haven't had any issues. So I'm hoping that today in this race, everything goes according to plan. For the first time, I'm doing a proper warm up before a race to see if that helps make a difference. Normally, I just get in the pen with about 5 minutes to go and just spin my legs for a little bit. But I want to see if doing a proper warm up gets better results. I'm hoping this will make the first 5k or so a little bit easier. I often find myself having to put in some real efforts in the first parts of races, try and stay with the front group. So if I'm going in with warm legs, hopefully it's a little bit easier to stick with those riders. One last effort. Race time. Pre-race nutrition. Shout out Science and Sport again.
So here we go. This is the third round of Tour du Zwift. Stage 3, we're on the BRAEK-fast Crits and Grits course. We've got 22 very bumpy kilometres ahead of us. So as I've already said, had a bit of a nightmare with the race in stage 2, which is why you haven't seen that. But on the completion of stage 1, I've been doing this with my mate, and we decided that we were actually going to turn this into a little competition. So we're doing a general classification for all the stage races. After stage 1, I was in the lead by 13 seconds. As we can see here, made a little poster using ChatGPT. So the aim for this race is to try and extend that lead, and this is still it's only my third race in category C. So out of 64 riders, I'm just aiming to finish in the top half of this race. So the ZRS score for this race is 270 to 390, and at the time of recording, my racing score was 350. So somewhere in and about the middle, sort of top half of the middle, and I purposely chose this race because it was going to be a little bit faster, because I've got this overall competition. I was hoping that if I could stick with the front group, then that would help me to post a faster time than if I'd raced in a bracket where I may have been more competitive, but the overall pace may have been a little bit slower. So I am digging quite hard up this first climb. So we're only less than a kilometre in, and already we've come out the pen, turn left, and then we've just gone basically straight up a hill. So already I'm feeling the benefit of my warm-up, because in the past I would have got to this and then just immediately started getting dropped by this front group, because my legs wouldn't be as warm and as prepped as they are now. So we reached the top and we crossed the summit in 3 minutes and 7 seconds, and that'll become relevant a little bit later on. So as we descend, still in the front group, using the draft to my benefit, just sort of rolling down here, not doing any real efforts, just sticking with the front riders and trying to recover as much as I can, because even though my legs felt fresh, it was a little bit of an effort trying to go up that hill. You can see that the sort of power bars at the top, I've got a lot of orange and red and almost hardly any blue or green. So just trying to bring my heart rate down. I can sort of manage to keep it at 170, around there. Anything 175 and higher, then I am in a bit of trouble, but 170 seems to be about the max that I can hold at the moment and still have a decent power output. So then we roll into Glasgow city centre and we hit the Clyde kicker. Still in that front group. You can see here my average watts is 247. At the time of this race, my FTP was 229, so I'm averaging above FTP, but I'm feeling quite good at this point, and I'm actually quite pleased with myself. I know we're only 4k in, but there's not that far to go in this race. Although it's up and down, it's quite a short course, so although the power output is quite high, I'm feeling quite good in myself, and that I'm going to be able to manage this and sort of stick this through to the end. I know there's a big climb at the end, but if I can get to that point with the front group, then I do stand a good chance of posting a good time and doing myself good in the GC that I've got going with abs. At this point, my heart rate is too high. We're in the high 170s, so I just need to do a little bit of better pacing, try and get in the draft, try and get as much recovery as I can, and as we go down the champion sprint, the pace does start to slow down, which gives me that time for recovery. Even if it's only short, anything you can get in these races is going to be a bonus to you. So then we leave the city and go out into the countryside again, and at this point we've just ticked over 7k, and I'm happy so far. I'm feeling really strong. I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? Yep, warm-up was definitely the right thing to do. I'm going to do that before every race that I do now. That's just going to be become part of my pre-race routine. So we're going through, getting some more recovery, sitting in the green zone, nice easy power, and then disaster strikes. Everyone just starts to disappear around me.
No!
If you've seen some of my other videos, then you've seen this happen once or twice before. My trainer just disconnects from Zwift for some reason. It's not clear why at this point. I've been in constant contact with Wahoo support, and between us we're still not able to figure out what is happening. But at this point, everyone's disappeared, but I can still pedal, can still carry on with the race. So I thought it might come back at some point, but then, as you can see here, no
Stop
power, no
it.
watts. My avatar stops pedaling, and I just get this no signal message, and that just happens for the rest of the time. I can't seem to get it back. A little bit there, but then it just dies completely.
This is so annoying. I'm going to have to abandon this. Do it again. Let's try this again.
So I give it a couple of days and then I give it another go. So doing exactly the same prep as we did last time, little warm up before just getting into the pen with about a minute to go. I want as much luck as I can this time, so I put my Team Type 1 jersey on and my backwards hat because in my mind they make me go faster. So we start the race for the second time. I've got two thoughts going through my head at this point. I've got the fact that I'm in this GC with my mate Abs and I want to post the fastest time possible and extend the lead that I'd had since stage one. But I also just want to get to the end of this stage because I'm also trying to complete the Ultimate Tour du Zwift, which is finish all 18 stages. This is the second one that I need to complete for stage 3. I still need to do the long route, but I'll do that before the end of the week. So, same thing happens. We come out the pen, turn left and start going up this hill. And again, I've got primed legs and I am able to stick with this front group. We've got people trying to intimidate by popping their anvil power-ups going up a hill, just to show everyone how strong they are. So those are the riders to watch out for. And then we reach the top, and this time in 3:05, so actually 2 seconds faster than we did it the first time. Down the descent, I get an anvil power up just before going through the banner, and then a second anvil power up going through the banner. So I had 2 anvils down this descent, and I just used them both. Did some super tucking, not really putting any effort. I know I've gone off the front, but I'm fully expecting everyone else to catch me. I'm not trying to make a breakaway because that would fail very, very quickly. And then I end up in a group, again, front group, getting all the benefits of the draft. But when I have all these riders bunched up around me and I can't see the avatar's legs, I start to get really nervous because I know that there's a trainer connection issue when my avatar stops pedaling, but I'm still pedaling on the trainer. So when I can't see my guy's legs, then I don't know if I'm connected or not, and it's really quite nerve-wracking. So we're back in the city centre of Glasgow, going up the Clyde Kicker again, putting down a little bit of power, trying to keep with the front group. If you look at that power bar though, it's much less red and orange, and there's more green and yellow this time, which shows me that I'm pacing myself a little bit better in this event, and that's good because I was actually 7 seconds faster to the top of the Clyde Kicker compared to the first time.
Feel slower.
So at this point, obviously, I can't compare my time with the previous race, but to me, it felt slower. I think that's got something to do with me pacing it a little bit better than last time, because as we've seen, actually, I was a little bit quicker. But for whatever reason, it just felt slower. But that gave me a little bit more confidence, because I felt because we were going slower, then my legs were feeling stronger. So at this point, going under the archway for the castle, I've now got further than I did in that last attempt. The trainer had disconnected about half a kilometre back down the road last time, but we seem to have made it further, so confidence is starting to rise that we'll be able to finish this race this time. And then I make a mistake going through this banner by popping my anvil to try and get another power up, thinking that the descent was immediately on the other side, but it wasn't, so I have to go along this whole flat part of road with my anvil power up, which then leads to me getting dropped, but I immediately pick up a new group, so I've spent very little time out of the draft, and here I am staying in the draft, and I'm trying to race smarter, because in my last race I've tried to do things like just beat some guys in the middle of the race, and that ended up just meant that I was the one that in front and they were just using me as their draft, whereas I'm doing the complete opposite this time. I'm staying behind the riders and I'm using their draft. So I've managed to stick with this group all through the 4 breakaway Bray KOMs that we had to go through, just little kickers but repeated. But then we get to this final surge, and the final part of this race, the last 3 kilometers, is pretty much all uphill. So at this stage I'm deciding I'm just going to run my own race now. If people go, I'm not going to chase them down, because I don't want to sort of die at the very top of the last bit. I want to make sure that I'm approaching the very last climb with enough energy in my legs that I can give it a little go up the KOM, because I still want to post a good time and try and beat my mate Abs.
No!
And then for the second time, with less than 2 kilometers to go, the trainer disconnects, which is so frustrating. It always happens twice, so it'll do it once, you've seen it reconnect, and then there we are reconnecting it for a second time. Fortunately, it didn't stay disconnected like it did the first time. I was able to get it back, but that had cost me about 10 seconds in time trying to get that back. Now luckily I wasn't with a group, so I've not lost a group and been disadvantaged that way, but it's just frustrating that it keeps happening. And so in that last banner, we very luckily got a feather power up just before the final climb, which I'm going to put to good use in this first really red, really steep section. So we'll pop that in a minute, and then there's less than a kilometer to go, so I'm just trying to pace this last climb as well as I can. So we're up at 270, 280 watts, 300 there, just keeping it going all the way to the top. There's a few people on the climb that I can see and I think I can catch, and that does happen. I quite quickly end up going past these 2 riders, because although my power numbers may not be massive by any stretch of the imagination, I am quite good at, even this late in a race, holding sort of quite above FTP power numbers, which obviously not everybody can do. So I think there's anything that I have to my advantage or trick up my sleeve, it is that. So these races that finish on a hill do tend to lean themselves a little bit towards me and my style of riding. So then after 36 minutes, we managed to cross the line in 57th place out of 135 starters, so top half, so I was pretty pleased with that. The added benefit as well is that I did manage to beat my friend Abs. I beat him by 30 seconds, so I now have a 46-second lead going into stage 4. So hopefully that puts me in a really strong position to do well in stage 4. Thank you for watching, guys. As always, I will see you in the next one.